much.
Yeah.
For noise insulation, there's a lot of different programs. There's also a piece that is important or is favored, I guess, by the FAA, and that's getting a navigation easement. Which means it's avigation.
Navigation, it looks fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were originally told, well, you have to have those, but apparently you don't.
Really?
And you can write your own. However, my understanding is that the airport, if they do the purchase and then resale, they would include an avigation easement. And what that does, our position was that would be the worst thing possible, because that means no matter what happens in the future, you got what you got.
You can never get more funding.
You can never get more funding. Yes. Actually, the reason we got it is Senator Leahy insisted that they come here because all of their studies and looking at, I think there's 8 criteria, the Burlington Airport did not score the highest. But our senator was committed to having a fighter pilot mission. And they told us, again, which really was not true, that if we didn't take the F-35s, then there would be no mission for the Vermont National Air Guard, which later the Air Force said, oh no, there'll always be a mission. We wrote letters and spoke to our congressional delegation, and we talked to the FAA, and I think we got a empathetic ear from the FAA regional director.
Okay.
Doucette. That's his last name, right? Doucette?
Yeah.
And he agreed that we could do another sound map when they found the money.
And I would say there's been a really strong resident, grassroots opposition too that's helped contribute to that.
Right.
Yeah.
If you read the documents that the Air Force put out about the health impact on this kind of noise, it does bother you. You don't know it.
Right,
It's affecting your heart, it's
I see
affecting
what
your
you're saying.
cholesterol, it's affecting your blood pressure.
Okay.
You don't feel it at the time. But what they say is the cumulative effect. So this is not just noise a point in time. It's like tobacco. It builds up in your system. So that
And
the
then it kills you.
repeated noise is doing physical harm to human beings, regardless of whether you like the sound of jazz, which I actually happen to like it, because I can feel it in my chest. It's sort of a rush. It's dangerous for me, even though emotionally I may think it's great, like smokers think they like the effects of nicotine. So after reading those documents, you come away with the holy shit, the thing that I thought was not a big deal, and that's what this is. So this is what the Air Force pointed us to. It's the World Health Organization of the burden of disease from environmental noise. And this is where you read about its really bad effects on children that the Air Force spoke about in the EIS, and then you read more about it in here. And if you
Yeah, so 40% of our residents are going to be now included in the updated, I forget, but the noise impact area. And so we are currently focused on helping influence the development of the noise compatibility program that the airport is working on with the FAA consultant to prioritize noise insulation. We've been strong advocates of not removing any more houses.
Okay, so not tearing them down.
Yeah,
more
no
tear
teardowns. Yeah, no more teardowns, and we are also pushing highly for the noise insulation because we want to improve the quality of our housing stock versus, there's 2 other options in there for folks who want to leave, and that's sales assistance and purchase assurance, which doesn't necessarily improve the home. So the sales assistance, I believe, is where the airport buys the home, does the insulation, puts it back on the market. But then there's another option called purchase assurance, where somebody can sell their home, and if if they don't get the price, the fair market value, the airport will cover the difference. But there's no insulation that happens there, so that home doesn't get noise mitigation, and now it's on the market and it cannot receive those funds in the future.
They do make it very, when they do the buyout, they leave a city in a tough position because they go in and they say, okay, your house is valued at $200,000. To replace that home, to find that same size home somewhere else in this community, it'll cost you $250,000. So they make up the difference.
Yeah.
They offer you, well, we'll give you $50,000. So all of a sudden you have $50,000 of additional equity. Then they'll help move you, and they will help find you a good mortgage rate. They will move all your, TV and direct TV and all that kind of stuff
reconnect
for
your
free.
cable and all,
Reconnect
yeah.
all that. So they offer this, what can be a very attractive deal for someone. And for the city, it's tough for the city to say, I'm going to I don't want you to get an extra $50,000, sorry. Well, that's that's the FAA's approach. I mean, and it's, it's bureaucratically simple. Just tear them down. If it's 65, don't mess around with trying to
Right.
put insulation
It's
in and
patchwork.
all
Yep. Yeah.
you just tear them down and it's done.
And that's at 65 or 70?
Yes,
65 and above. Yeah.
So we have convinced, I guess, the city of Burlington and the airport that that's not what we're interested in having done. I mean, the impact on our grand list, you lose 200 homes, and that's
Tax base.
your
Yeah,
tax
yeah,
base.
yeah.
That's a lot. And they
Affordable
don't make
homes,
that
too.
up, it's just you lose it. So, we did get the agreement, at least for the time being, that, we're not gonna look at tear downs. So even if they're in the 75 decimal range, what they will say probably is, we can't do anything about those homes. But there's for us, there's just a handful, because they've already torn them down. Yeah, and so what they do is they have to assess every single home individually, and they have to prove that insulation will reduce the noise inside by 20 decibels. So that's to get down to 45, I think.
Yeah, because the safe is.
Right.
Or if the assessment is, this place, we can't spend enough money to insulate the walls in
yeah.
your house to reduce the number, you will not get the,
So will they buy them out? Will they destroy the house then? Do you
I don't know what they'll do.
Because it's different FAA money. I mean, that they have different applications for purchase and destruction versus insulation. And it's not up to the city of South Burlington or Winooski. It's up to the city of Burlington, who owns the airport, to get the airport to apply to the FAA for
the
grants.
money, yeah.
That's part of the rub, is that, as a city councilor, for a city that's impacted, they don't have any say. The city council in South Burlington doesn't have any say, or Winooski.
Or you don't try to find the, the bomb depots, you bomb the planes, the delivery vehicle, which would be our airport in the Northeast. I mean, maybe they fly somewhere else and pick up the bombs.
They
I don't know.
always pre-position the weapon systems. They're always forward deployed.
What is that?